There are stories you think you know, and there are truths that stay buried beneath whispers and shadows. Tonight, I'll share 3 tales that may seem separate at first, but keep your eyes open and your mind sharp, because in the end, they are pieces of the same haunting puzzle. And trust me, you won't see the final twist coming, so stay until the end, if you dare. But before we begin, if you love unraveling the dark secrets of the unknown, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Let me guide you deeper into the unknown. No one stays here unless they're running from something. The innkeeper's eyes were like stone, hard and hollow. The weary traveler, drenched from the storm, chuckled nervously and followed the man down the dim corridor. The oil lamps lining the narrow hall cast wavering golden shadows that danced across faded wallpaper. "You're lucky. We've only one room left." The traveler murmured his thanks and stepped into the room. It was small but warm. A modest bed with thick blankets, a single chair by the window, and a small fireplace where embers still glowed faintly. The air smelled faintly of ash and something older, like forgotten memories. He set down his bag and sat heavily on the edge of the bed, sighing with exhaustion as the rain drummed steadily outside. The innkeeper lingered at the door, his expression grave. "Remember, you're not the only guest here. If anyone knocks at midnight, don't answer, no matter what they say." The traveler frowned, brow furrowing. Why would anyone... The door shut with a soft thud. The sound seemed to echo longer than it should. Hours passed. The storm outside grew fiercer, the wind howling like a wounded animal. The fire dwindled until only pale embers remained. Then, at 12:03 a.m., there was a knock, soft, timid. The traveler sat up, eyes wide in the dark. "Help me. Please. I'm trapped." The traveler's heart pounded as he swung his legs off the bed. The voice was weak, desperate. "Who's there?" No response. Just another knock, more insistent this time. He hesitated, hand hovering over the doorknob. The voice came again, more urgent. "Please, I'm freezing. Don't leave me here." The chill in the room deepened. The traveler's breath hung in the air like fog. Then it hit him. The voice sounded familiar. Too familiar. Slowly he pressed his ear to the door. His blood turned to ice. It was his own voice, pleading from the other side. The doorknob began to rattle violently. The traveler stumbled back, terror clawing at his chest. The knocking became pounding. The voice, his voice, twisted into something shrill, monstrous. Then silence. The traveler waited, heart thudding painfully in his chest. Softly, almost tenderly, the voice whispered through the door. "You can't run forever." The school's old auditorium was a graveyard of forgotten memories. Rows of broken seats slumped under dust, and the frayed curtains swayed gently in the stale air. Corey led his friends to the center of the stage, his flashlight flickering. Its narrow beam caught glimpses of rotting wood and forgotten scripts. "Come on, it's just a dumb ritual." He lit the candle. The flame flickered and danced, casting strange shadows. "Are you sure about this?" Rachel whispered. Corey grinned. "It's tradition. Every senior class tries it." The instructions were simple. Stand in a circle, call the spirits, but don't let the candle go out. The others shifted nervously, but they followed Corey's lead. Minutes passed. The silence pressed in around them. Then, at 1:12 a.m., the flame shuddered. At 1:13 a.m., it died. The darkness was suffocating. Rachel's scream cut through the silence. Corey fumbled for the matches, hands shaking, but they slipped through his fingers. Then came the footsteps. 1, 2, 3. Dozens of them, circling above, as though the spirits themselves were pacing the catwalks. Their echoing rhythm was slow, deliberate. What was that? "Run!" Rachel shouted. They bolted toward the exit, their footsteps thundering on the stage. But Corey stayed frozen, staring at the dark figure emerging from the curtains. Its eyes were glowing embers, twin points of malevolence. The shadows seemed to ripple as it stepped closer. "This wasn't part of the game?" Corey whispered, barely able to breathe. The lights flared on suddenly. The stage was empty. The others called to Corey from the exit, but he was gone. The curtains swayed as though something had passed through them. Thunder rumbled as Lydia climbed the stairs of the old mansion, the iron key in her hand. The wood groaned beneath her feet. No one's been up there in years, the lawyer had warned. But the attic door beckoned. The key slid into the lock with a soft click. The door swung open, hinges shrieking. The air was thick with dust and silence. Boxes and old trunks lined the walls. At the center of the room stood a single chair, facing the window. Lydia stepped forward, her heartbeat thudding in her ears. The room smelled like mildew and something else, faintly metallic, like old blood. A whisper drifted from behind her. "You finally came back." Her breath hitched. Slowly she turned. The room was empty, but the mirror in the corner reflected her, and something else. A figure stood behind her, its eyes dark pits. Its grin widened, teeth too sharp. The voice, soft and slow, whispered from the mirror, "This is your home now." The door slammed shut behind her. Her scream was swallowed by the storm. 3 stories, 3 doors, 3 sets of rules. Did you notice? The knock at the door, the dying light, the reflection in the glass. What you thought were separate hauntings were never separate at all. The inn, the stage, the attic, each a room in the same house of horrors. They waited for someone like you to unlock the truth. But beware, those who find the truth rarely leave to tell the tale. You stayed until the end, but now, do you hear it? A knock at your door, or a whisper in the attic? Let me know what you think the final secret means in the comments, but be careful what you wish for. If you're brave enough for more stories like these, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, in some stories, you're the guest who never leaves.